everyone. Welcome to another episode of Talking Mando, where we talk everything Mandalorian. My name is Clint from Star Wars Daily, and I'm joined here with...
And I'm Eric from Punch Press.
So this is the second to last episode of Mandalorian.
Yeah.
What an amazing season it's been so far. The last episode airs this week, so that's going to be our last episode of Talking Mando for this year. We'll be back with Talking Mando episodes next year, but stay tuned to the channel for more Star Wars content that we are going to begin pushing out more regularly. And then thank you to everyone who has watched Talking Mando each week. We really appreciate all of your support
Yes,
to the
thank
channel.
you.
And yeah, please subscribe and stay with us for this next chapter in our YouTube journey, because we had 10 new Star Wars shows and movies announced this past week. So there's going to be a ton of content to talk about, and we would love to have you guys along for the ride.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
All right, let's hop into this week's episode. What was the name of this week's episode again?
The Believer.
The Believer. Okay.
Yes.
So episode starts out, Mando, Cara, Boba, and Fennec recruit Mayfield because of his Imperial clearances. Now, if you don't remember Mayfield, he was in season 1 of The Mandalorian. He was in that like the prison breakout episode.
Yeah.
He's the ex-Imperial sharpshooter.
Mhm.
So I really like the character. I think he's pretty funny. Bill Burr is a great actor and comedian, and I think really his dynamic with Mando in this episode was really cool to see.
Yeah. No, I like the first time we saw him in the breakout episode. Like, I liked the character, but I was like, kind of want this guy to get got, you know? he's messing with Mando too much, you know? So I was like, no. But now once we see him again and now in this episode, it was really cool seeing that like dynamic with him and Mando, and seeing that like they pretty much built a connection while on like the mission, you know? So that was cool to see. And then like the mutual respect at the end when he's like, yeah, I didn't see anything, you know? So it was like, that was cool. That was really cool to see. I really enjoyed Bill Burr's character, and Bill Burr's pretty funny to begin with. So I'm glad we got more of him this episode.
Yeah, and I mean they're trying to locate Moff Gideon's ship to rescue Grogu after the events of last episode. But how cool is it that Boba Fett and Mando are now traveling together across the galaxy in the Slave One?
This thing is the cool. It feels like it's like our new Millennium Falcon, you know, like how we used to see our heroes going everywhere in the Falcon and everything. And like now we're seeing these heroes and an unlikely hero, Boba, but in his iconic ship that pretty much we've only seen the inside of a couple times, you know? So seeing that, and then like this, how the like where they were sitting stays in place. Like, the Slave One's like twisting and turning. Oh,
yeah, that's so always cool. Been really cool, and like the Millennium Falcon does that too. If I don't know if anyone noticed, but in the cockpit, like it rotates based off the direction of the ship. So the actual cockpit of the Millennium Falcon. So when the Falcon, this is the Falcon, this is the cockpit.
Yeah.
It will if the Falcon goes like this, it'll rotate to always stay upright.
I honestly had no idea. That's really cool.
So yeah, it's similar to the Slave One in that fashion.
Awesome.
I do miss the Razor Crest, but it's still pretty cool. Like the Razor Crest was a pretty awesome ship.
Yeah.
Sad that it's gone, probably forever. But the Slave One is a good replacement, I suppose, for now.
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, if anything's gonna replace the Razor Crest, it was be the Slave One, you know?
Yeah, definitely, hands down. So our heroes go to a secret Imperial mining facility on the planet Morak to get access to an internal Imperial terminal. This kind of gave me Rogue One vibes, and it's pretty funny
Yeah.
because they actually had shore troopers in this episode. This is the first time I think we've seen shore troopers come back since Rogue One.
Yeah.
Um, and like Bodhi was trying to get to that Imperial terminal, and the same thing as Chirrut. We have our heroes going for an Imperial terminal in this episode as well.
Yeah, no, that was really cool. See, I love the shore troopers. So when like Rogue came out and like seeing them in the movie, that was awesome. But then I remember right after it, people were saying, "Oh, like we're pretty much never gonna see them again." They were like only on Scarif,
Yeah,
and I was like, "Oh well, that's cool," but like I would have been able to see them somewhere else. But now I'm happy.
yeah.
It was cool.
It was awesome seeing them return as well as the Death Troopers from Rogue One, because those were the
Yeah,
two best new Stormtrooper designs and fan favorites
and they
from
had the
new
tank
movies.
troopers in it too. No,
Yeah,
that's what they were disguised. Yeah,
the tank troopers, and it was like a crossover between the tank troopers and the mud trooper. They had the mud
yeah,
trooper uniform and then the tank trooper helmet. That was pretty sweet.
really cool.
So yeah, the Remnant Empire facility is run by ex-ISB officers. They're the Imperial Security Bureau. Um, they have detection software in the facility, and apparently, if you're in the New Republic database, you'll basically be outed.
Mhm.
So it was funny because Boba Fett was like, yeah, I'm gonna bounce because they might recognize my face. Because as we know, Boba
Yeah,
Fett's a clone trooper, so of course his face is going to be recognized.
yeah,
And then Fennec, Kara, obviously, because she was ex-rebel, and then Fennec because she was, I guess, wanted by the ISB. And you know what was
Mhm.
cool? I don't know. A few people noticed. Did you see Fennec Shand in the Clone Wars
yeah,
Bad Batch trailer?
yeah. I'm really excited for. I can't say that's the most excited. That's the one I'm most excited for because I'm excited for all of them. But that was really cool to see.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a really huge Clone Wars fan and a big Republic Commando fan.
Yes.
So let me just say, I wasn't that excited for Bad Batch at first because I was like, what are they going to do with it?
Yeah.
Um, and I'm like, how can you give Bad Batch the spotlight when Delta Squad is all I want and need in
Yeah.
my life?
What if they could be in it?
They could be. Um, let me just say, my one gripe about Clone Wars is that we did not get to see more of Delta Squad in Clone Wars. We just got
Yeah.
that like 5 second scene. Okay,
Yeah.
Delta Squad is legendary. The game was amazing, and they deserve a lot more credit. But that being said, I'm really excited for Bad Batch. The trailer looked amazing. Tarkin was in it, and it's, I don't know, like it's a really interesting time period, and I think they're going to turn into Scar Squadron from the comics.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and then there's also the rumor that all those black colored clones in um, Bad Batch are part of Commander Cody's unit, and Commander
Yeah.
Cody
So
is that got ARC Trooper looking character. That
yeah.
it was pretty interesting. If that's Cody, like everyone wanted to know what happened to him,
Yeah.
and maybe we'll find out. Maybe we'll
Yeah.
even find out what happened to Wolf and Gregor, how they
Yeah.
got their chips out. So
And we'll that honestly, I didn't even think about that. That's because we didn't even see it. Um, like we didn't see it
in
in
season
season
7,
7.
yeah,
Like how they got their chips out, how they got in contact with Rex, how they found each other. So that could be really cool to see. Um, but I really hope they do end up turning into Scar Squadron though. That would be
yeah,
so cool.
that would
That would
that would
be
be,
awesome. And if you don't know who Scar Squadron is, they're pretty much Bad Batch, just in the Imperial era. They've been in the comics a, a good amount of for a
yeah.
good
The
amount of
new the new
so
Disney era comics.
Yeah.
Um, Speaking of comics,
Mhm.
okay, so there are tanks transporting Rhydonium to the facility. Rhydonium's like extremely volatile or whatever. So
Mhm.
Mando and Mayfield hijack a tank and wear stormtrooper disguises to get in the facility.
Mhm.
Now, these tanks are like juggernauts.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember the EU comic where the Imperials are in like this juggernaut convoy and a monoman like people start hijacking the juggernauts? Did you ever read that comic?
I don't remember.
Okay, I'm gonna throw up some pictures on the screen,
Okay.
but that was one of my favorite comics growing up, reading,
Yeah.
and it was really cool seeing the Juggernaut, the Imperials, like kind of like have a last stand or whatever with the Juggernauts and the Monomen, kind of like native people basically.
Oh, wait.
Um,
I think that was Star Wars Empire. The
yep,
Star Wars
it was
Empire
one of the
comics.
Empire comics.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. And
Yeah,
I used to love the Empire series is one of my favorite.
it was pretty cool. I forget the name of the characters in that comic, but
Mhm.
it was one of my favorites, and it would be cool if they actually drew inspiration from that because
Yeah.
it was very imperial centric comic series, and
Yeah. All from their point of view.
yeah, I really
No.
enjoyed that one, and it reminded me of reading
Yeah.
that
Well,
comic.
honestly, I didn't even put like two and two together. They probably, because now that I'm thinking of it, that episode was um could have been very like heavily influenced by those comics because the Empire comics are, as the titles suggests, it's all from the Imperial's perspective. It's like
Yeah,
Imperial stories. So, and this last episode is that's exactly what it was, and it's like that same kind of theme that you were talking about.
yeah, and I
So
love getting a perspective from the imperial side. That was one of
yeah.
my biggest disappointments with Battlefront 2
Mhm.
because we only got a very brief amount of that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Battlefront 2 and Operation Cinder a little bit later, but
Mhm.
yeah, and Lost Stars. If anyone has read Lost Stars, hasn't read Lost Stars, please read it. It's another book that provides a great insight on the Imperial side and its canon. Um,
Mhm.
you know, well, I'll get to it later because we let's lead up to it.
Yeah.
So in the Juggernaut, Mayfield's constantly teasing Mando about, taking off his helmet and about how Mando has to wear a stormtrooper helmet. Um, Mando's just like not having it. He's so annoyed by it. But Mayfield actually calls out Mando for changing his rules when he gets desperate.
Yeah.
And this is something we've seen throughout the series that Mando's all about this is the way, but
Yeah.
when he really has to give up his beliefs for something that he needs or when he gets desperate, he does. Um, so
Mhm.
Mayfield's kind of like, what's the difference between not showing your face and taking off the Mando helmet? Like, is the Mando helmet your face, or is it okay to wear other disguises if you're
You're
not
just not
showing your
showing your
actual
face.
face? So
Yeah.
he kind of like puts that idea in Mando's mind, like
He
he's
broke him down.
yeah, Mando, and yes, he did break him down because he just constantly hammers Mando about
Yeah.
um taking off his helmet. But yeah, you can see Mando kind of like, and we saw it earlier this season. Bo-Katan's like, dude, oh, you're one of those. You're one of
Yeah.
those dudes. Like you're super like
Yeah.
cultist almost. Like you like come on, dude. Like you're being ridiculous, basically.
Yeah.
Um, so Mando's kind of like seeing that, and he's kind of like, I think he'll gradually ease into becoming more relaxed and less strict.
Yeah. No, yeah. I really liked, at first I was like, at first I didn't really like it that he was taking off the helmet.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh, what? Come on. And then I mean, I obviously watched the rest of the episode, and I really been thinking about it more. And it's like, okay, well, that just means he cares so much for the child, you know, for
Yeah,
Grogu. So
it's
it's like,
character building. I mean,
exactly.
if we just
No, it
had
really
him,
was.
yeah, if we just had him be static the entire time and just be like, "This is
Yeah,
the way" all the time, and
yeah,
everyone's just mocking him like this is the way, it would get
exactly.
old.
He's growing.
So
He's growing as a character, as a person, as a
yeah,
Mandalorian,
and he's been
as a
solo
dad.
for so long. Like he's been
Yeah,
just riding solo this entire time, and now he has like a support system almost, and
yeah,
he's changing a bit.
yeah.
So Mando and Mayfield's Juggernaut gets ambushed by pirates, like we mentioned earlier, and they have to maintain a steady speed because rhydonium is volatile and they don't want it to explode and blow them up. So Mayfield continues driving the Juggernaut at a steady speed, and Mando proceeds to kill any pirates attacking their tank. And yeah, so Mando's fighting off these alien pirates, and they finally are almost to the Imperial facility, but Mayfield has to slow down, and then pirate reinforcements arrive, and it looks like they're just gonna get destroyed. And this epic moment happens where you're like cheering on the Empire, which is
Yeah,
something we never do. But TIE fighters fly in, blast the pirates, and a whole legion of stormtroopers just run out. They're shore troopers, stormtroopers, and they just mow down all of the pirates. And you feel this like sense of like I don't know. You just
yeah.
want to cheer on the
It was
Empire.
so exciting. Yeah, it was it because like we've been saying, it's like we've never been on that side of it, you know.
Yeah,
So that and obviously it was kind of like a little bias, I guess. It was the heroes in real disguises, but it was still like, oh well, they're saving them, you know.
yeah, yeah,
So
and
that was awesome. As
and
soon as
then
the they swooped in.
they go in the facility, and everyone's like, "Glory to the Empire!" Like celebrating, and the Imperials are all patting each other on the back. They pat
Yeah,
Mayfield and Mando on the back, and there's just like this, all this like camaraderie between the troops, and this is just something we've
yeah.
never seen before. And
No,
you like it's like a feel good moment
it humanized them, you
for
know.
the viewer, and yeah, like I said, reading these books, watching things from the imperial perspective, like it does humanize them.
Yeah,
And you have to remember that not all Imperials are bad. Like in this
mhm,
episode, Mayfield actually has compassion for civilians. It mentions he had compassion for civilians
mhm.
back when he was a scout trooper in the Empire.
Yeah.
And like if you read the books, like they Imperials, they're not all bad.
Hmm.
They
A lot
just
of them had
signed up.
families, you know.
Yeah, it was like Luke Skywalker wanted to join the Empire because he just wanted to fly a
Yeah,
spaceship. Like they just
exactly.
they just wanted. It was a way to get away from home, kind of like in
Yeah.
real life. Joining the military is the only option for some people to
Well, yeah.
um, get out and see the world.
A lot of people didn't know anything else besides imperial rule, you know, um, and of course, like people like Luke, he lived on. He was like an orphan with his aunt and uncle on a farm in the middle of a desert planet. Who wouldn't want to get out of there, no matter who's giving them the opportunity to leave, you know?
Yeah,
So like, but yeah, that's a great like perspective, because it's like that's something we've only ever seen in comics or books and stuff like that, is how human the Imperials were. They weren't
yeah,
just like, yeah, a lot of them were pretty much just space Nazis who were evil, but a lot of them weren't. They were patriots. They loved they loved the empire, and they wanted to, you know, fight for their people, for their planets, and do their duty. So uh, that's something we haven't really seen, because especially in like the newer movies, we see stormtrooper Imperials more of just like like drones, like mindless drones. So no, yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool. Yeah,
and
that's
let
something I
me
haven't really thought about.
let me say that Mayfield is the perfect example of how to um, develop a story arc for an ex-Imperial. The Republic switching to the Empire wasn't like a complete like switch or like control of power. Like it wasn't like the rebellion. It wasn't like the rebellion becoming the New Republic. Like the
Yeah,
rebels were seen as terrorists throughout the
yeah,
galaxy,
exactly.
and of course that's why they're having all these problems as the New Republic taking control. Because when the Republic turned into the Empire, it was just like the
It's just
same
like a name
ruler, the
change.
same army, just a
Yeah,
name change basically. Yeah, like what you said, and they still have the same officers, the same men. The Republic was good,
ended.
and now all those good guys are fighting for the Empire, yet they don't know what they're doing because
Yeah.
the Emperor is manipulating everything behind the scenes.
Well, yeah, it was just like over time things got worse.
Yeah,
But it wasn't like overnight everyone was, oppressed and and in danger from the Empire. It was just like, okay, like they told us that the Jedi went crazy and tried to take over. Well, I'm glad they're dead now. That's
yeah,
what people thought. And it's like uh yeah, it's like something you don't really think about, especially because we see it from a very specific perspective. It's like as the viewers, we George Lucas made the story so that we see the rebels and the Jedi as the heroes, which they are. They're the good guys, but it's, the people living in the galaxy, they don't know everything we know. And it's just like they just know old. I was like, okay, well, what I have no reason to trust our chancellor.
yeah.
So
So
no, that's crazy.
yeah, and not every planet was affected by the Empire. It's a
Yeah.
huge galaxy, and a lot of people just went about their
Yeah.
business. So the terminal is in the officers' mess hall. Mayfield goes to extract the information, um, but before he can do so, he recognizes his former commanding officer, Valen Hess. Um,
Mhm.
so he freaks out for an unknown reason till later. And Mando's like, all right, well, I agree to use the terminal instead, even though I have to take off my helmet because
Yeah.
I'm going to do anything for Grogu,
Mhm.
pretty much. So he goes and has his face scanned, but he's acting kind of sketch, maybe because he's uncomfortable with his helmet off. But
Yeah.
Valen
Maybe.
Hess confronts Mando, asking his TK number, and Mando just chokes. He doesn't know what to say. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And Mayfield just swoops in and saves Mando by saying that he's his commanding officer and he has hearing loss. And then Mayfield proceeds to say they call him Brown Eyes and tries to walk away. I thought that was pretty funny.
It was. It's just
Just
like
random
just
but
a bunch
funny.
of BS. He's like, I'm
Yeah.
just trying out of this.
But before they can escape, the officers like come over here and have a drink with me after your
Mhm.
successful delivery of the Rhydonium. And let me say, the acting of the Imperial officer was outstanding.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen him in anything before, but he was scary. Like
Yeah.
he wasn't like he wasn't a big dude. He wasn't like scary looking. He just the way he talked and everything, it was creepy. It was like
Yeah.
he's deranged. Like
Menacing. Yeah. No,
he's
yeah, that.
seen shit.
Yeah, definitely. He's a good
It was
actor.
cool. He had like a Western accent
Yeah.
compared to usually the Imperials what have a British accent, so it
Yeah.
was pretty interesting.
Yeah, that was cool. It felt weird, but it was like, oh, it's different. I like it.
Yeah, it felt more like rugged almost.
Yeah, exactly.
So Mayfield brings up Operation Cinder as what they should toast to when they're having drinks.
Yeah.
Um, and if anyone doesn't know, Operation Cinder was the Emperor's like contingency plan if he died,
Mhm.
where they created like these fake catastrophic storms, not fake, like They just created
real
real catastrophic storms that killed thousands of Imperials and civilians alike. Like just destroyed planets basically.
yeah.
Um, and Mayfield was on one of those planets. He served under Valen Hess, and he saw like all his comrades die, and he was like one of the only ones left. He saw all those innocent civilians die, so he like hates Valen Hess, right?
Yeah.
Um, so Mayfield can't take it anymore, and he goes and surprisingly shoots Valen Hess in front of all the Imperials in the mess hall. And there's
That's
this
so good.
hilarious moment where Mayfield and Mando just look at each other like, yeah, that just happened. And all
Oh
the
my
imps, like with their little lunch trays and
Getting their
chocolate
freaking
milks, like,
pudding.
yeah, just
Oh
like
my god.
stare at them like, what just happened? And then Mayfield just proceeds to like shoot them all
Oh my
before,
god.
and he kills them all. And Mando and Mayfield jump out a window.
Dude, there's a screenshot like right in the moment when Mayfeld shoots the officer, and like there's sparks coming out from the front and back, and you look at Din, and he's just like didn't even no reaction, no like blink, no flinch. He's just
That's great.
not affected at all.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so they're escaping the facility. Fennec and Kara have sniper rifles up on a ridge, and they're providing cover fire. Boba takes off in the Slave One to go pick them up, and they escape. Mayfield grabs that Tusken Raider cycler rifle and just snipes the Rhydonium canister from the Juggernaut, blowing up the entire facility.
Yeah, a great shot.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was awesome. And and what happened after
Yeah, then the moment we've all been waiting for.
that?
We knew it was coming.
We knew it was coming.
Two TIE fighters start chasing the Slave One, and Boba releases the seismic charge. The sound is amazing. Granted, it does sound cooler in space, but it was still really cool to see in The Mandalorian, something that I know a lot of fans wanted to see.
Technically, this is the first time we see it actually blow up a couple ships, because he didn't kill. He used Django used it on Obi-Wan, but didn't kill him.
It just blew up asteroids. It didn't kill Obi-Wan. So that was awesome.
Yeah, I still can't believe it. I hope they use it at least one more time.
I hope they use it in space.
Yes.
So they let Mayfield go free by saying he died in the explosion, since we know he's a New Republic prisoner, and he was supposed to serve 50 years, and Kara let him go for helping out. And then Mando calls up Gideon. I don't know why he's giving Gideon a heads up that he's coming, but Mando calls up Gideon with a hologram and threatens him by using his own line against him, saying, "You have something I want," being Grogu, and that he talks about how much Grogu means to him more than Gideon will ever know. And that's where the episode leaves off.
Yeah, dude. I at first I hadn't realized that was the same exact speech. And I was like, "What are you doing, man? why are you being so weird?" And then I was like, "Oh, that's the same thing he said to him." But I think he's got some guts doing that. You know?
Oh, he's mad. He's mad.
Because they blew up his baby, and then they took his baby, his other one. You know? So of course he's not. It doesn't matter if he knows he's coming or not. He's pissed.
For sure. And I mean, like all the episodes in this season were really awesome. All the character reveals and getting to see characters from Clone Wars and stuff like that. But I gotta say, this episode, even though it didn't bring anything necessarily new to the table, I really
Mhm.
enjoyed seeing the Imperial side and having that um, the amazing chemistry between Mando and Mayfield and those
Yeah.
actors. It was really cool to see. So I really enjoyed this episode. Um,
Yeah, no, it was
I'm
a great
sad to see
episode.
Mayfield didn't stick around with them, but I guess
Yeah,
he'll probably show up next season or
I'm sure
something
he
like that.
will. I'm sure he will. Um, I mean, people love his character. I love his character. I'm sure he'll come back. Maybe not for next season, but maybe down the road in one of the other Mando seasons.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, this last episode was really good. Obviously it was like it. We, I think everyone was expecting it to be like a two-part ending. You know, so like
Hmm.
the last two episodes, but that's what I was expecting, but I came out happy. I was
Yeah.
so excited because all that means is that the finale is going to be insane.
The finale
It's
is
going
going
to
to
be
be amazing.
crazy.
It's coming out this
Because
Thursday, and I mean, if it could be over an hour long. I mean,
yeah, I was going to ask, have we heard anything about the runtime for this last episode?
I I haven't,
Hmm.
but knowing if it's anything like the last season's finale, I think I would expect it to be about an hour.
Yeah, about an hour. No, yeah, I'm excited. This is going to be. I can't even begin to imagine how it's going to go down. You know,
Me neither. I have no
so
speculation. I just know they're going to confront. There's a lot of rumors that Cal Kestis is going to show up,
mhm,
and kind of like probably duel with Gideon.
yeah,
Or Ezra, but I've been seeing more about Cal Kestis, so that should be
yeah.
interesting.
I think that that could be really really cool, because then what better way to hype people up for the next Fallen Order game
Oh yeah, definitely.
than for Cal to show up and you know, help Grogu and the crew. That's gonna be awesome. Oh,
Yes, it is.
I do hope it's him, but honestly, I anyone could be cool. You
I
know?
mean, even if there were no Jedi showing up, I bet you this last episode is going to be amazing. And
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
I mean, we can't wait to talk about it with you guys next week. Um, so thank you for watching this week's episode of Talking Mando. Be sure to follow Eric Hell at Punch It Chewie Press and check out his latest pin drop in the description below at punchatchewiepress.com.
Boba Fett's armor.
Yes, we
What do you
forgot to talk
what?
about this.
Yes. What do you think?
Um, he painted it sometime in between that episode, and I mean, it looks great. It looks cool. I didn't think they were gonna do that.
No, yeah, me
But he
neither.
looks awesome, and I hope he gets a flight suit or something because the Tusken Raider robes aren't doing it. But
Uh,
um,
no, yeah.
I love it. It
No,
looks cool.
I really liked it. It was interesting to see him like when he came out and it was like fresh, you know, just
Yeah,
freshly paint.
I
I was
mean, it
like,
makes
oh,
sense.
it does make sense. I
And
feel like
maybe
he's like,
he's
oh, I haven't.
jealous about Din's armor looking so good.
Yeah, he's like, he can't look that good, and I look like this. But no, I thought it was cool. It made it feel like Boba was like emotional about something, you know,
Yeah,
like, oh, I haven't seen my armor in how many years, you know, and it's like,
sentimental.
I'm gonna clean it up. I'll make it look nice. So I liked it. I'm excited for the Black Series.
Oh yeah, all the
Yeah,
figures. Hot toys,
yeah.
please.
Hot toys, yeah. No,
Yeah,
but yeah, that was
loved
it was
it.
really cool.
It was
I
sweet.
do miss the weathering, but I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm sure
this
it'll
is a
get beat
new
up
Boba.
again.
Oh,
It,
I'm sure it will. After this finale, probably.
oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.